I haven't the foggiest idea of what to say here. It's Sanctuary of Reality, my comic review series. Today is Cerebus issue 125, chapter 12 of Jaka Story. One densely foggy morning, Oscar paints the stray stone demon head in the middle of the road with white paint, turning it into a guffin. Pud takes issue with him defacing what he claims is his property, but he rather eloquently informs him that he's mistaken and it's actually public property. His verbal slap of the pub proprietor, grocer, and landlord enrages Pud until he calls Oscar a, quote, sodomite. Oscar's playful jabbing ceases abruptly. His tone changes to one with a more cutting edge as he brings up the issue of Jaka. How Pud pays her 3 copper bits a day and charges her 3 copper bits a day for food when the food he gives her is worth multiple times that. Pud storms off in a huff, leaving Oscar, who isn't alone for long. Lord Julius in a dress shows up, asking for a light. Oscar doesn't realize who he is until he claims to be Jaka's Aunt Victoria. Oscar's mood changes once again as he attempts to endear himself to the Grand Lord of Palnu by using his full list of titles in a grand flourish. Julius corrects him to the proper introduction, tricking him into giving himself a wet willy. Oscar takes no offense and lights his cigar at last. Will the aristocratically enamored Oscar make a lasting impression with Lord Julius? In the prose flashback, young Jaka, having just had a spiritual awakening of who she truly is, goes outside and takes in the colorful rose garden for all its vibrancy. Nurse, having been looking for her for a while, trudges her way toward her. What will happen when the foul-tempered caretaker finally reaches her changed charge? This is another Cerebus-free issue. I think in this case, like the others before, you don't really notice because the actual story itself is so engaging. It doesn't help, though, that Cerebus, when he has appeared, hasn't really been doing all that much in the storyline. That's an interesting facet to me. Cerebus is the title character, but technically this particular storyline is called Jaka Story, her name is even on the cover. Of course, Jaka isn't really in this issue much at all. She's in the flashback, and she has a cameo at the very, very end, but the conversation between Pud and Oscar is very Jaka-centric, so it's still a Jaka story. Cerebus is a bit like Missy, Jaka's doll, a remnant of the past that she keeps around but really has no use for anymore. This is the funniest issue of Jaka's story by a mile. It's great to see Lord Julius again, even if it isn't really him. What? What did I say? Did I say that's not him? Well, it sure looked and sounded and acted like Lord Julius, right? Well, in the Jaka Story epilogue, titled Leica Looks, we'll get the truth behind this issue's appearance. Oh, if you're wondering why he's wearing a dress, Dave's explained elsewhere that Julius is attempting to flee the Styranus regime in disguise. So see, it's entirely practical, whoever he is. Next time, can Jaka live down the shame of puking on her boss?